Hello! Good evening, guys. How's everybody tonight? Chat up. Well, let's get rid of this countdown. I'm gonna buy a stream deck, which is gonna make streaming a lot easier. Hopefully I'm gonna buy that at the end of the month. So I don't have to try and put multiple. It'll just make navigating OBS much easier. So the last time I was streaming, I was working on this guy. Camera's a little bit more zoomed in now. My arm is working again. So maybe you can see in a little bit more detail this converted Blood Angels Hellbrick. He just has the little Servitor nonsense. I haven't glued them in. I'm gonna spray them, and then we'll worry about painting them. I think they go on something like this. Maybe more faced like this. Yeah, so like one of his little guys goes on like this. That other little guy goes on something like that. Well, I haven't glued these guys in because I figure it's going to be a nightmare to paint once these guys are glued in. Yeah, I think he actually sits something like that. Yeah, just in front of the sword, something like that. But yeah, so I've got this. This guy is going to be Rebute Gilliman for me this next week. Good afternoon, good evening, everybody in chat. Mike, Nathan Braden, Dirty Wizard. He's going to be Rebute. He's on the same 60mm base. So he's going to be my Blood Angels Rebute Gilliman. I made a list. It's coming out on Friday, my list with Rebute Gilliman. But I did also start working on a converted Grimaldus as well. Just getting some Blood Angel shoulder pads on him. This conversion is, I guess, less effort. And I'm building up. I seem to have lost my instructions, of course. Of course I've lost the instructions. I'd lose my head if it wasn't screwed on, honestly. Where have I put the instructions? Fuck. Oh, they're over here. Cool. Hold on, my chat hasn't loaded properly. Let me try and load it again. So let me know what you guys are working on tonight. Is the chat loading? Alright, cool. Yeah, it's working now. Cool. I mean, you could have nearly lost your arm. I did nearly lose my arm. That's Mike. Thanks for the reminder. I'm actually thinking about going skateboarding today. I'm looking forward to going skateboarding again. I just don't know when I'm going to be. I'm probably not going to go. I'm going to probably wait until probably like another month at least. But I am looking forward to skateboarding again. Okay, 14, 13, 15. What's piece 15 look like? Oh, it's just a single leg. Okay, so I'm going to start by finishing these guys, because I want to get these guys sprayed this weekend, because if I get them sprayed on the weekend, then that means on Saturday afternoon I can probably... Sorry, if I spray them on... Yeah, I want to get them sprayed on Saturday afternoon. Because if I get them sprayed on Saturday afternoon, that means that I can put some paint on them on Saturday night. And then I kind of hate painted... I literally never play with grey models. I hate doing it anyway. I hate doing it even more if I'm streaming. So... And do you know what? I've got a Battle Predator. I might break out a Battle Predator after we finish these. And it's a half-built Battle Predator that I never sort of arsed myself building because I didn't think it was very useful / good. Sleepy's got a Battle Predator. Braden's finally starting Brother Corbulo after owning him for 7 years. Do you know what? I've got a game day captain that I've owned for about 20 years that I need to figure out what I'm going to do with at some point. Jacob's working on a script for his script writing class. Jacob, have you checked out ChatGPT? Because that shit is insane. If you need to write some script, then you should check out ChatGPT. How's everybody doing? How's everybody doing in tossing their inceptors? That didn't last long with the inceptors, did it? I saw somebody on Twitter said that they'd bought 15 inceptors last week. They'd primed them, they'd been working on them. They're now useless. They're actually now... Each inceptor is 10 points more than an attack bike. It's kind of cheating. It is kind of cheating, Jacob, but it's kind of awesome at the same time. So I mean, I every time I run inceptors, they always underperform for me. So it'll be good. I don't have to justify why I don't like inceptors anymore. Braden says that's why you don't buy for stats. Yeah, I mean, I always advocate buy the models that you want to do because you think they look cool, or you have like a passion to do them. I very rarely... I mean, occasionally I'll buy competitive. I will buy competitive, but like... I was never going to buy that hard competitive anyway with it being the end of the season, because at the end of the season, like, all bets are off. You never know what's going to happen. You know, some people ran out and bought like 4 gladiator tanks. Yeah, you know. I think gladiator tanks will be better next season, because they've been trashed for like the entirety of 9th edition, so I think they might be better next season, but I'm not going to buy 4 of them. 60-point model dying on a 1 is absurd, says Anthony. Yeah, it is absurd. With the amount of shots they get, it's absolutely absurd, yeah. Nathan filled some gaps and says carrion tank, and I like the Inceptor design, but I hate plasma. I only own 3. Yeah, I actually own my 3 plasma Inceptors are not finished in terms of like the painting on them. Funnily enough, my 3 bolter Inceptors are finished, and there was a window at the beginning of 9th edition when bolter Inceptors were actually pretty decent. I ran them to a few events. That was before they changed Nachman data to require 5-man. And when Nachman data could be done with a 3-man unit and it didn't have to be troops, bolter Inceptors were genuinely very decent. This friggin' nozzle clogs every single time now. It must be this glue must be on its last legs. God damn it. Mike says 3 or 4 years focusing on one army, you will have what you need. Yeah, maybe. Every single time this nozzle clogs now. There we go. Okay. I think for 10th edition they should remove the Primaris firstborn divide. I think it probably will. It would be nice if they just did remove it, to be honest, and it would get rid of the whole debate. Like, some people still don't want firstborn. Sorry, some people still don't want to field Primaris stuff because they're stick in the muds and stuff like that. I never had like a. Well, it was Primaris Marines that sort of got me re-engaged in the hobby after a long break. Lee, thank you so much for subscribing. So I don't have any problem with Primaris. I just wish that my big sticking point with the Primaris is far too many of their units don't have they don't have very good weapon options. I think we can all agree with that. You know, like they get like one model or no models. You know, Outriders are a good example. Outriders, no models can take upgrades. The Death Company Intercessors, one model, well, it's not a sergeant, is it? But one model can take a Thunderhammer. You know, it's just the Primaris stuff is very limiting in terms of what you can do. Valrak has rumoured that the firstborn Primaris divide already has. You think it's going to go away? I think it'd be good if it goes away. I don't think it benefits the game in any way, shape or form having it divided, and I think if it went away you would probably just get more options. I mean, they kind of forced it though, right? They kind of forced it this edition by doing stuff like transhuman can only be used on Primaris, because I think when transhuman first came out, correct me if I'm wrong, you could use transhuman on anyone. It didn't have to be a Primaris model, right? I feel like in 8th edition you could definitely transhuman anything you wanted. I may be remembering that incorrectly. I don't feel like I am. I feel like I'm remembering it correctly. Mike says, I'm happy to take back Sangre Guard at 6-mans, 240 more points for a list. I think Sangre Guard at 6-mans are probably the biggest I would run Sangre Guard at right now, Mike. They're just very expensive, right? Very expensive for like no survivability, I guess that's my issue with them. But I mean, yeah, you're probably fine running a 7 as well, it's not that big a deal. We ran 7-man squads before Armor of Contempt. I'm sure we'll see them post Armor of Contempt. It's just the meta still in a... Like, the meta hasn't adjusted yet, right? So the meta is still in, like, a pre-Armor of Contempt state where, like, everybody just wants to bring shitloads of big AP stuff. That makes it difficult to really handle as a Blood Angel player. If Blood Angels get a refresh similar to Black Templars, do you think they will get the characters done? I would hope so, right? Greetings, Silent, how are you doing? Blood Angels won't need transports when we get Jump Pack Assault Intercessors. Well, I mean, we've been waiting for Jump Pack Primaris units for a very long time. And we don't have them, so... I'm not sure... I mean, I want to agree with you and say that we don't need them, but we've been waiting for what feels like forever. I'm thinking that, like, rather than make this Black Templar banner, which is all well and good, I wasn't sure if it was going to be easy to convert out, but I think that it will actually be easy to convert out because I can just cut that thing off there, stick a Blood Angels banner on top. So I have one that isn't sprayed. I'm going to actually use the unsprayed one. I also have this little winged bit on the top here, which I'm also going to use. Give me a drop pod for my Primaris. Yeah, I mean, if they get rid of all that nonsense and you can take drop pods for Primaris, if you can put Primaris inside what the hell is it called? Tarak Siege Drill and stuff, then you're talking, right? Like, then we're really talking. Drop pod Blade Guard bits. Yeah, I mean, I guess the drop pod would still probably need to be like, you'll probably still need a restriction where like bigger units take 2 models, because I guess like 10 Blade Guard veterans or drop pods actually sounds sort of crazy. What's the name of the new Primaris Devastators again? We came up with some names for them, but does anyone actually know what the real names are? And I guess we've got the LVO show on Sunday, right? Saturday? Sunday? There's a reveal show on Sunday. What do we think the reveal show's coming? Gravis should be restricted, same as Terminator, says Chrono saying. Yeah, I mean, I could get on board with that. It'd be cool as well if Terminators could, like, if Terminators could be in an Impulsor, now you're talking. I mean, if Terminators could be an Impulsor and you can use Transhuman on Terminators, is there still any reason to run Blade Guard Veterans? I mean, I guess maybe because they get slightly more attacks. I heard that we are getting a new Terminator kit, but it's not going to be a Primaris Terminator kit. It's just going to be like a reimagining of the firstborn Terminator kit. That's what I heard. And honestly, I think I was more excited about that than when I had heard before that there might be Primaris Terminators, because I was like, oh wow, there's a reimagining of the older kit, and then it means that it's just like a better version, like a slightly bigger version or a more chunkier version. if it means my old squads have life, or I can buy the new squads and they also have life in terms of like how, when I say life, I mean like those models aren't getting discontinued or something, right? I think that's like a bigger win for me. I'm more excited about that than. I mean, it wasn't like I was not excited about Primaris Terminators. I thought Primaris Terminators would actually be pretty cool, but if it means that all my firstborn Terminators have a new lease of life and they actually have updated rules and you can transhuman them and maybe there's some new war gear with a new kit, you know, like maybe that would be super cool. Come on, baby. Stick. Yeah, I'll be playing Iron Hands next week, and the list that I'm running next week is going to have well, it's going to be commanded by Repulsor Gilliman, and I think I'm going to run 2 Ball Predators. Just because they're 110 points, and why not? That's not going to hold. I mean, I can drill it. I really didn't want to have to drill it, though. It might hold. It's getting a bit of people dissing my glue now. Jeez. Jesus. Okay. I like this glue, man. This is a tiny contact point, though. There's quite a lot of weight on the banner, so it might be better to just hold the banner like that and then see if I can put it down and let it dry. I think it'll hold. I think it'll hold. I'll leave it for a few minutes. Alright, so that's him made. This Black Templar's banner, I've actually really modelled for disadvantage, because look how... Oh no, it would be there at the join. Alright, it's about the same height, actually. So once you put the Blood Angel's wings on top, that will actually be like slightly taller than the Black Templar's banner. That's fine. Excuse me. I have a little bit of a cough at the moment, so please excuse me. Have I got a safety pin to pin it? Usually when I pin them, I use a bit of like a paper clip, and I just cut the paper clip in half. And then like just leave the paper clip in there. That would... I've never pinned with a safety pin. I'm not actually sure how you do that. I mentioned 2 Ball Predators when Highland started Reaper Kick. I like the balls. I mean, I think now that I wasn't sure what I was going to do, but now that you guys have mentioned it, and I do want to run the list with 2 Ball Predators. One, just because it's a list with 2 Ball Predators, and I feel like that that alone means like I just have to run it. What war gear do Ball Predators get for free now, actually? I know, so you'd have 110 points, you would get 2 heavy bolters, and you'd get the twin assault cannon. Is there anything else they get for free? Like, they get a hunter killer missile, maybe? A storm bolter? Anything else? Reziel wanted inceptors to be good. Yeah, I mean, inceptors costing more than an attack bite now is kind of a joke, Reziel, isn't it? Games Workshop. They should have probably, if it was up to me, like if I had, like, I would have never put the, I said in my original stream that it made no sense to have the plasmas the same cost as the bolter inceptors. I would have probably put the bolter inceptors to 30 points per model, and then kept the plasma at like 10 per gun. So plasmas would have been 50 per model. I still think that's probably too expensive if attack bite's 50, because if you compare an attack bite to a plasma inceptor, you know, it's got more wounds, it's got better weapon, it's got more movement. yeah, so I would have probably still said that like an attack bike is better than a 50-point inceptor, but it means at least it would have given the bolter inceptor some love. I mean, bolter inceptors at 40, they were okay. Bolter's inceptor at 30, that might have been really cool, and that might have actually changed the meta, the inceptor meta a little bit. Like, we might have actually seen like bolter inceptors just to come down and clear out chaff units. And I think it was you that persuaded me to run bolter inceptors, Reziel, actually. Like, it was probably like 18 months ago, and I ran them to a couple of events, and I actually really liked them. But that was back when you could do actions, like you could do stuff like what was the action you could do? You could drop the bolter inceptors, and you could still do Nakman data with them and shoot. And that's when I really liked them. Bolter inceptors need to be 30 points per model, yeah, because they see no play at 40. They literally see no play. They saw some play at the start of the edition at 40, but that was, like I said, that was when they had more tricks up their sleeve back then, right? Like you could do what I just said, whereas you can't do that now. Because Nakman data needs a 5-man unit, or even 6, I guess. I saw someone on Twitter said that they just bought 15 bolter inceptors, and they put a picture up of like all of them painted. Morgo says in chat he just bought 9 inceptors. No, man, I feel sorry for you. This is why I always say, like, it's better to just, like, if you want to play Terminators and someone in chat is like, let's be real, like, we're all, a bunch of us are very competitive players, right? And I have my opinions, and my opinions are not the same as all of you guys' opinions. You know, I hate Plasma, some of you guys love Plasma, some of you guys love Dante, I love my Chapter Master on a bike, right? We all have our own opinions. And I think the thing that, like, this Plasma thing, it makes me want to, like, it reinforces my feeling that, like, you should just make the models that you think are cool and fun and you want to do. And if that means you don't have the most optimized tournament list, then that means you don't have the most optimized tournament list, but you don't get stung by, like, you know, you rush out and you buy all these things and then they're not good, which I guess generally can feel pretty bad. So yeah, tough, man. Melta is king in 9th. There's a lot of Melta running around in 9th, that is for sure. I agree with that. If you're playing Iron Hands, there's a fucking unbelievable amount of Melta running around. Blood Angel's Commander, hold up, I thought BAC was the voice of Sanguinius. It's just an awful decision to change the points values on published rules within a few days. Yeah, it's not great, is it, Chris? I mean, I guess that's the problem. Like, this is why I was saying, like, I think that now that they've got the points as digital points, they either need to let people know, like, hey, these points only change once every 3 months, or this is more like a living, breathing thing and we make tweaks every week. Because I think that's the problem. People saw those points, expected them to last 3 months, but there's no real rule on how long they last once they're in that, what is it called, the, like, Munition Field Manual? Militia? English is not my strong point. Minotaurium Field Manual? I don't fucking know what it's called. You guys know what I'm talking about. Like, there's no rule on how long the points stay there before they get changed, right? And I think that's possibly the problem here. Like, they either need to say, like, hey, you know, this is a living, flexible, breathing thing and we make point changes often, or we don't make point changes every 3 months. So people know, you know, it's the beginning of the 3 months, I can buy stuff and I've got 3 months to get it ready, or people know, hey, this shit changes often, I probably shouldn't just spend all that money, right? So how does this big stick go on this guy's back? Something like that? This is a weird one. I'll say maybe I'll put his arms and his head on. Then we'll worry about this giant. Feels like he's being crucified, this guy. Good evening, Ivan. How you doing? Sorry I didn't see you there pop in. The right hand looks fully operational. Yeah, man. Right arm is doing so much better. Thanks for asking. I still have a bit of restricted movement on my shoulder, and I'm still sore. Like, there's certain things, like, they said I was going to need a lot of physiotherapy, but honestly, because my right arm is my dominant arm, you just start doing things with your right arm, and then you don't really realize it until you've done the thing. And then, for example, like today, I'd filled up the kettle first thing in the morning, and then I just instinctively, I guess, picked up the kettle with my right arm, and like, I can't really pick up like 2 or 3 liters worth of water inside a kettle yet. And I was like, ow, you know, like, that's a bit too heavy. I'm not ready for that yet. But yeah, I just, and like, in the office I work in, the doors are like these big, really thick fire doors. So you just start trying to open the doors without thinking about it, because your right arm is your dominant arm. And I hope, or I think, that I'm not going to need that much physio, because I keep doing silly things like that, and it's going to result in just the arm getting a lot stronger quicker, I guess. So yeah, I'm feeling good. I was gonna do some painting tonight, but I might build a ball predator once I finish these guys up. So 50-50. But I think I could probably manage a bit of simple painting and stuff as well now. Eric says, GW executive, how many inceptors have we had on the shelf? I think that's unfair to say that they drop the points costs because of trying to sell them. It's probably just negligence. They just probably didn't think people, like, that's the problem with 40k players. You've got those meta chasers out there. So the second they put a unit like inceptors down to 40 points per model, some idiot has gone out and bought, how many inceptors can you field? 18 in a battle? I mean, I don't know if you guys remember when Andrew fielded he fielded an army, Iron Hand's army, against me at the start of 9th with 18 eradicators. You know, like, someone will have done it, and someone will have done it for a faction it's good with. I guess maybe it's decent with Blood Angels. It might be better with like Ultramarines or something. So someone will have fielded 18 inceptors and have made a mockery of the game, and they'll go like, oh shit, yeah, this is a problem. We should have not put inceptors to 40 points, and they'll have fixed it. I don't think they were trying to sell inceptors, but it does feel like, I feel like a lot of their resources are probably on 10th edition. So this season, because there's already been like 2 FAQs for this season. So the end of season stuff, or the end of 9th edition season stuff, wasn't checked well enough, I guess. Andrew is that guy. Andrew maybe is that guy, but he didn't specifically buy inceptors. But he has bought other stuff like that. I mean, he did buy 3 gladiator tanks, so yeah, maybe Andrew is the guy. Highland Phoenix coming on with gifted subs. Thank you so much, Highland Phoenix. I appreciate that. I mean, hey, if you went out and bought inceptors like Morgo, all you can do is, if you feel upset about it, I suppose, is, you know, concentrate on other units that you thought was going to be fun, or that you were also working on right now. I'm sure inceptors will get their time in front of the sun again, because it's like swings and roundabouts. It all comes back. Every unit that is weak right now at some point will be strong again. And that's why I don't sell any models. I saw Steve's not in the Steven S isn't in the stream right now. No, like earlier today, he was like selling. He was saying in the members only chat, like, he's selling off his firstborn Marines, and I was like, I mean, he seems to think, nobody knows this, but he was like, I'm selling off my firstborn Marines because, why was he selling them again? He was selling them because he thinks that 10th edition will be like more Primaris based or something. I lost an arm there. I might have lost an arm. No, I didn't cut off a sprue. And I was like, I'm not selling anything. Everything that is weak. Well, I mean, I haven't run my Ball Predators and I don't think I've run my Ball Predators since 7th edition. I've had one Ball Predator sitting in a box, half made, since about 2005 or something, honestly. So like, for the first time in like 16 years, and yes, this is an extreme example, I'm going to get that box. We'll be able to tell by the box art, actually. When I get that box over in a few minutes, we'll be able to tell from the box art. John lost the right arm. It's the left arm, actually, on this guy that I lost. But yeah, we'll be able to tell from the box art what edition it was. But I lost I bought a Ball Predator like 20 years ago. I guess I already had one, bought a second one, realised that whatever edition we'd moved into that they were trash, and just never bothered with it. And that sat for like 15 years. I can't see 10th being a full move to Primaris. I can't see it either, MB, because there's too many. They'd be killing half the people's armies. Like, they're not ready for that, I feel like, as well, because like for Blood Angels there's just far too many units that are there's far too many units that are still firstborn and stuff, right? Alright, this is a weird model, but guess what it is. So yeah, I'm not selling anything. If anything, I'll just continue to do what I've always been doing, which is paint stuff that is competitive for me right now, and you know, do my passion projects and anything else that I'm working on. Like I genuinely just don't. I guess I chased the meta a little bit, you know, like I added like a lot of Death Company this season, which I definitely didn't have a lot of Death Company before. I mean, I had like 10 finished, but now I have like 20 on the go, so this is a cool model, but it's also quite weird. What's that? A bit of fluff. Strange to have a banner bearer, whatever you want to call this. Oh, holy shit, Valrak's here. Definitely keep your firstborn chapter master for 10th edition. Valrak, how do you like my conversion of Helbrecht? He is one of your guys, is he not? Thank you for dropping past the stream, holy shit. I watch your stream all the time, dude. I always say hello in chat, but I guess you've got so many viewers, you never catch me. I've been converting Helbrecht. I mean, Blood Angels. Our characters got we got ignored. We got humped in this last balanced data slate. They didn't put any of our characters down in points. So here's a Helbrecht for you with Blood Angels pieces on him, because why not? Cool. What comes first, do you think? Primaris Death Company or Primaris Sounding Guard? We got Primaris Death Company. What we don't have is any good weapon options for them. So, and we don't have jump packs for them. That's probably the bigger problem. But that's why I can't see it being that they ignore... that's why I can't see them like deprecating the whole of the firstborn range. Like, I think it's too much to lose. Alright, look, you guys of ye of little faith, it did stick. We have converted this guy's banner to be a Blood Angels banner as well. Valrak, run. If you haven't subscribed to Chapter Master of Valrak, I'd be surprised if you haven't, actually. I mean, he's giant. You should check him out on YouTube. He has all the rumour content all the time. And he always seems to be right with the rumour content as well. So, yeah, drop past when you know that we're getting a Primaris Dante, please. Because we're waiting over here on the Blood Angels channel. I feel like we've been waiting a long time for Primaris Dante, actually. Ever since Mephiston decided that Dante wasn't allowed to go through the Rubicon in Darkness in the Blood or whatever it was. It makes me want to make Blood Angels. You should make Blood Angels. Valrak, if you ever want to come to Scotland, I know that sometimes you say in your stream you're in the north, you're king of the north. Well, I mean, where I am, like, go to the wall, you know, in Game of Thrones, and then go like 500 miles north. And that's where I am. If you ever want to come to Scotland for a battle report, as chill as you like, you're more than welcome. I like your new gaming room, by the way. Wildling Country, yeah, we really are. We always see funny things that, like, you know, in like the 10th century, the Romans were taking over the entire world, but when they got to Scotland, they just said fuck it, and they built a big wall, and then they just left us alone. It really is Game of Thrones, isn't it? This guy actually, I don't know if this little Servitor guy has a name. Is he a named character, or is he just a Servitor for Grimaldus? I'm guessing he's just a Cenobite Servitor. But I was gonna say, I think I've made him. I think he's pretty cool with the Blood Angels banner. So yeah, these will be my Blood Templars at some point. I think Black Templars got so good with the new balance status late. My problem is I'm playing Iron Hands and they're fucking broken. So I'm gonna run some Black Templars against them because I think that they'll be pretty nasty. But I'm gonna run Rebute next week against the Iron Hands, so that should be fun. I've been wanting to include Rebute in a Blood Angels list for a while, just because we don't have a damn Primarch. So, I mean, this is as close as it gets, right? Alright, got one Servitor to do, and then we'll maybe get onto the Spell Predator. A living Primarch. Yeah, I'm okay, yeah. We have a Primarch, we need a living Primarch. I guess those are two different things, huh? Do you know what? I saw, I mean, because we're always upset that we don't have a Primarch, and people are always like trying to come up with something, you know, like I've heard so many rumors, like Sanguinius' soul is in the warp, so we're gonna get like a Sanguinor Primarch character. I've also heard that we were gonna have like Dante Reborn as part of Sanguinius. The one that I heard this week, which I haven't heard before, which I actually kind of like, was what about if Dante goes in that flying dreadnought from 30k? I think it's called the Incinerius dreadnought. I don't play 30k myself, so I'm not entirely sure. But Dante in a flying dreadnought, that would be pretty cool. Adrian, thank you so much for 5 gifted memberships tonight. I do appreciate it. Highland Phoenix coming in with another gifted sub. Thank you guys. I do really appreciate it. I'm just glad that I didn't buy Inceptors. I'm going for my next kit that I'm going to buy for Blood Angels is going to be, I'm going to buy another one of those Blood Angels Terminator assault squads. Here come all the gifted memberships. If you've if you're getting a gifted sub for the first time, you can link up your Discord account you can link up your YouTube membership to your Discord account. You can come over onto our Discord. There should be a link in the video description, and you can get into our members only room where we talk all things Blood Angels, army lists, all that sort of good shit. So if you are getting membership for the first time, please come over and use it, because if you don't use it, we'll just go to waste, I guess. Eric says the Flying Dread in I can't say that. Insidious? I don't know how you say it. But Dante in a Flying Dreadnought would be, I mean, I know that we're probably getting a Primaris Dante, but I could have got on board with him being in a Flying Dreadnought. That could have been cool as well, right? Our Librarian Dreadnought doesn't get that much game time, honestly. and I'm guessing it's just because its rules aren't quite strong enough. Like, we see it occasionally, but maybe they keep putting Mephiston's points down, which is probably why the Flying Dreadnought, the Librarian Dreadnought doesn't see that much play. I've run him to friendly games. I don't think I've ever run my Librarian Dreadnought to a tournament. It might also be that the fact that you can only take stuff from the Blood Angels discipline, and the stuff from the Space Marine discipline is arguably stronger for, especially right now when Psychic Fortress and Null Zone are going to be really good. More Terminators is the correct amount of Terminators. Yeah, I watched a video from Valrak saying that there's going to be a new firstborn Terminator kit. I'm still tempted. I'm saying I'm tempted. I still am 100% going to buy the Blood Angels kit. If there's a new kit that comes out, then I'll use some of the Blood Angels specific shoulder pads / thunder hammers and stuff to convert the new kit. Because I don't need to rush out and make them all straight away. But it's also worth noting, at one point in time, Forge World used to do Blood Angels Terminator shoulder pads. Like it was just a set of, like, I think it was probably just 10, but I feel like it was more. It was probably just like 10 Blood Angels Terminator shoulder pads for like $12 or something. And it was a really nice set, and it let you like do a lot of customization on your Terminators, which I always like doing the conversions and the customizations. So I always keep an eye out for like that on made to order, because Forge World do bring old kits back on made to order, and if they do ever bring back those Blood Angels Terminator shoulder pads, it would be worth getting a few. And they also can like double up for Blade Guard veteran shoulder pads, because Blade Guards are a weird model, right? They wear like, because when Blade Guards were first released, I was convinced they were in Gravis armor, because they feel a bit more chunky than like just regular Marines, but they're not. They're just Primaris Marines with like storm shields and slightly different armor, but they do feel a bit chunkier. And if you look at the Blade Guard shoulder pads, they've got those like extra rims on them. I guess kind of like these shoulder pads here, right? Like the Black Templar ones, where you've got the extra, like, I don't know what you call this. It's just is it a pauldron? An extra ring of metal around the edge of the shoulder pad. And the Blade Guard shoulder pads all have those. So the Blood Angels Terminator shoulder pads can let you do some wicked conversions as well with your Blade Guard. So even if there's a new Terminator kit, if you're ever converting any Blade Guard and you want them to be more Blood Angels and stuff. Pally says, I come in and you're talking about Blade Guard veterans and I'm painting my first ever models. Well, they're a good unit to start with, Pally. Welcome to the stream. Thanks for dropping by. DTM says, a new firstborn Terminator kit, interesting. It's good to hear the current look is iconic. Yeah, I mean, if you have the old metal Terminators, because I have a bunch of like the old Terminators from like the early 90s, I guess, you know, the metal Terminators, and then if you compare them to the plastic kits, I think if you put those two Terminators side by side, there's already a reasonable size difference, right? Do you know what, I can probably actually show you. I've got them right here. Yeah, look, these are some work in progress, guys. So this guy on the right, he's a metal Terminator, and then this one on the left is a plastic Terminator. So you can see he's already like, the reason this guy's base looks a bit janky is because I've got him on those base extenders, because I don't want to rip my old metal miniatures off their 25 bases and like destroy their feet and stuff. So I just put them on the base extenders. But they're already, I don't know, he's already like a ½ centimeter taller. The legs just look more robust. You probably notice it more in the back. There's just a lot more detail, and everything's better refined on the plastic anyway compared to the metal. And the paint obviously chips on the metal all the time, which is a real fucking pain in the arse. I still do like the metal models. They feel nice when you put them down on the table, especially deep strike. You want to deep strike down some metal Terminators. But I guess if they're making like a more Primaris, how does he stack up against the Primaris guy? Yeah, you know what? So they would probably need to go ½ centimeter taller again on these Terminators, maybe if they make them. But like, if these guys are on the battlefield and they're all painted in the same scheme, I'm not 100% sure you're noticing that they're different in terms of size, right? Maybe you are. Maybe you've got a very keen eye. Usually, if a squad is all painted nicely, if a squad is all painted nicely in uniform, I don't know if you're eyeing them up and going, that guy's half a centimeter less tall than the rest of your squad, it looks dumb. You know, like, genuinely, I don't think I feel like that, and I always try and be complimentary at events about people's armies. I think it's a good way to break the ice, honestly. If you're at an event and you've playing someone you've never met before, and you just want to, you want to break the ice or something, like, just start by complimenting one of their miniatures or their paint job or something like that. So, people have done that to me before, and I've done it to them, and no one's ever said, oh, that one Terminator looks a bit wrong because he's half a centimeter shorter. Andrew says, I'm a new Blood Angels player, new to your channel. Any recommendations of what I should get? I already have the Dark Angels patrol box, which I'm converting to Blood Angels, and a bunch of Sangre Guard and a bunch of Death Company. Well, maybe Blade Guard would be a good shout, because they're not going to go anywhere. It's a very interesting time, Andrew, because we're right at the end of the edition. So we don't really fully know what's happening this edition. But welcome, thank you for dropping by, I appreciate it. Anyone in chat got suggestions for what they think would be safe and solid bets for Andrew to start? Is the Terminator wearing a Primaris helmet? That is not one of the ones wearing a Primaris helmet. I should have got that one out for Valrak. Maybe he would have liked that. Oh, that's my daughter up. Just give me 1 second. I've just got to settle her. Alright guys, this is my stream now. Yeah, I got a 3-year-old, dude. She never wakes up on nights when I'm not streaming, but see, if I'm streaming, that's like prime time for her to wake up. What do you think about Valrak? Have you done it? Thanks for dropping by. Have you put a Primaris helmet on a Terminator yet? Because it's the most controversial thing I've done. People got very upset about it. Is this his backpack, or am I being an idiot? Probably being an idiot. What's up, Carl? Good evening, how you doing? I was like looking at your message that you sent last night on the video, your comment last night, Carl, and I was like, I have no idea what LFG means. I thought it meant like looking for a group or something. I was like, if someone told me they think what it means is let's effing go, is that what you meant? Because I was like, what is he on about? Let's effing go. Okay, yeah. Cool. Well, I had no idea. I'm not up with all the hip language, I guess. Looking for group. Good evening, Inks. How you doing? Primaris Blade Guard. Eradicators? Yeah, do you know what? Eradicators are... I was going to say they're a weird one. I mean, Eradicators are going to be strong, I think, for a while, aren't they? They're in a weird place right now where they're really good because, like, you can take the heavy melter rifles for free, and you can take the multi-melters as well for free. But I don't know if they'll stay that good, right? Well, see, I used to play World of Warcraft, so to me LFG meant looking for group, and he'd said it before in one of my videos. Nights when 176 sub 40k YouTuber drops in. I mean, he's the man, right? Like, he is literally the man. I'm not sure how he found the channel. I I watched Valrak for a couple of years at least. But yeah, I think he actually is doing YouTube full time now. He's so big. But he always has. I was reading a post on Reddit actually about like what's been. So there's a post on Reddit, and I was thinking about doing a video on it. Just time has sort of got away from me in these last few weeks, and I may still make the video on it. I'm not 100%, but I was reading this post on Reddit that basically said like, hey, these are all the releases that we've had in the last 6 months, sort of deal, and these are all, and you know, like this was like the rumor thread from 6 months ago, where this is what some guy put on Reddit 6 months ago as like the next releases, and he had like all the main points and all the releases. So whoever's leaking stuff from Games Workshop is like super accurate. Like he's known what the last 6 months of releases has been, and he's been like super accurate on it. So I was thinking, like, if he's been right like on the last 5 or 6 rumors, then why is he not going to be right on the next couple? And the next couple was like when they start talking about like the Space Marine stuff. So yeah, it's almost guaranteed, I think, that there's going to be some new Space Marine box set with 10th edition, like, and I guess the contents of which we don't fully know, but this guy in Reddit apparently knows, and I guess he's sharing it all around. Hello Wildling, good evening. I don't have room for eradicators with my eliminators, vindicators, laser destroyer, and trusty whirlwind. Well, I commissioned a laser destroyer. I should have it in the next couple of weeks, maybe. And I also commissioned Terrax siege drill, because I mean, if they are removing that firstborn nonsense, and it's just like any Marines can go in the Terrax, then holy shit, the Terrax just got a lot more attractive. Jim's trying to fix the 160 point hole in his list because the inceptors went away. What about attack bikes, Jim? Are you running any sort of priest? Because the priest is pretty good with attack bikes. It was always strong to spend 1 CP to revive an attack bike, right? Vindicator, Terrax Drill, Ironclad Dreadnought. Yeah, what about an Ironclad Dreadnought? Toughness 9 Dreadnought in the new meta. Is that going to be good? What do people think on the Ironclad? I think it could be cool. Speeder spam with spare points. How spare points? If you had 160, land speeders are 60 now. I guess you could take a couple of land speeders with the tornadoes, multi-meltas and assault cannons. That could be cool, right? Ironclad is toughness 9 now. No, but you can make it toughness 9 using Might of Heroes if you are going to take the if you're going to take a, what the hell is he called? The Firstborn Librarian with the jump pack, which we've been talking about on the stream for a little while and saying like he's going to get a lot more play probably now because we feel like Psychic Fortress has a lot more value, maybe. This is an interesting bit of model. How the hell does this go together? Like that, supposedly. Wow, this little servitor is fiddly as a like the fiddliest piece of servitor I've ever had. Alright, it's gonna go something like that. How about 2 librarians, one with Psychic Fortress and one with Shield of Sanguinius, both with +1 to cast? Oh, because you could get +1 to cast by taking the staff that gives the +1 to sanguinary powers. Do you know, I've never really run 2 librarians myself. I was gonna say maybe I've run it. I don't know. I mean, occasionally we get lists submitted to the army list show that have 2 librarians in it, but yeah, this little wire is super fiddly. Wow. I was gonna say, I know I just recovered from a broken arm, but I don't think my hand-eye coordination is that bad. I think this is just one of the fiddliest pieces of the entire. They put it on the last page of the instruction manual because they're like, that bit's super fiddly, so we'll leave them to do that at the end. Oh, there we go. We finally got it. Okay. You'll get more buffs out of 1 librarian and 1 chaplain, says Mike. I mean, I guess. Unleash Rage is one of the best abilities that we can run, though, right? Like, not many people run Unleash Rage, or not many people run Blood Angel Psychers, but Unleash Rage is like... Unleash Rage is essentially the only buff that we have that can make you do more than your maximum, like your base damage for... you know, like, it's the only way to get more hits. Like, we've got nothing, we've got no stratagem that you can play to, like, get more attacks, or anything like that. Unleash Rage is the only way to add more attacks to Blood Angel's army. And it's really good. We just don't see it all that often. When I beat Tyranids, when Tyranids were, like, at the top of the meta in a tournament, like, Tyranids were so far ahead, they're beating everybody else. Is Shield of Sanguinius decent now? I mean, anything that gives you a 5-up in run save is pretty decent now. Because you know, anything over -2 is almost unsavable now for Marines, right? If you assume that against -3 you're not saving, because you're just saving on 6s. So anything that's over -2, I guess, is serious business. Every time that I have used Unleash Rage, I forget it, and I don't use the exploding 6s. Put the card down next to the model on the table, Mike. That's what I always try and remember to do if I have a... That's why basically all my buffs, I have cards for them. And you're a channel member, so you're able to get my cards. You can download them from, like, the Google Drive link on the members page. And they're just cards you can print out on any printer. You just need a printer and a piece of card. I really think that, like, if you don't make your own cards, then I think I'd forget half the stuff. I really like having printouts of my own cards. Ken says, I have 15 Death Company, think about spending the next month painting 15 more. I want to feed the meat grinder. Death Company got weaker though, right? Like, considerably weaker, I feel like. I have like 30 Death Company, maybe even more. But I'm not sure how heavy I would go in Death Company right now. This has been the most complex servitor I've ever made, honestly. Why is this guy so complicated? He's got pieces. Look at the size of these pieces. Look at that. What? It's like a little flame, but I mean, like, it's so friggin' small. It's so small that, like, when you're looking at the piece, it just looks like a piece of scrap plastic. I got new glasses just last month as well, so my eyesight's pretty on point. Because I think beforehand, before I got my new glasses, I don't even know if I would have been able to see this piece. I honestly don't know which way you're supposed to glue it. It's so friggin' small. Like, I think it's supposed to be like little candles on this bowl that he's holding. I'm probably not going to roll in with the Barbarian. I don't want 5 characters. Normally I have a Sangre Ancient, Sangre Priest, Chapter Master, and a Justiciar. Yeah, I mean, not having 5 characters is probably a wise idea. If I drop that piece on the floor, it's gone forever. I'll never find it. It's so small though, honestly, I'm going to have to use... Which side even has the candles on it? Looking at it on my monitor because it's bigger than looking at it. I think that's the bottom. Okay, I think I know what the bottom is now. This is the most detailed Servitor I've ever seen. Has anyone else made this Servitor? Building Black Templars, yeah, I'm building Grimaldus's little entourage here. This is the last model. I converted Helbrecht and Grimaldus to all their little characters are like got some Blood Angels theme on them. So the banner bearer is no longer got this Black Templars banner. He's got a Blood Angels banner. Everybody said that I couldn't glue this with this glue. Telling you, this glue is good. It's good. Don't make fun of the Revolut contact glue. How very dare you. Contact professional. That's what I am, a professional. You're serving a servitor, ironically? Maybe. Alright. Cool, so I can spray these guys this weekend, which is what I wanted to do. I'll spray these guys on Saturday. This guy looks like he's taking a cross up the hill to be... Ironically, it will break when you drop it. Yeah, it will definitely when I drop it. And then you guys can all make fun of me and the glue that I used. Yes, of course you can. Tester's glue works well, it's cheap too. Yeah. Alright, these pieces will go into one of my bits boxes. Bits. Oh look, there's already some sort of... Oh, I think that was a Blade Guard Veteran standard. No one runs a Blade Guard Ancient, right? Guess that's why his standard's in there. I mean, that could have been cool as well, I guess. But I think having the Blood Angels banner on there is probably better. Alright, bits. I think there was 2 shoulder pads left on this piece of sprue, was there? Yeah, 2 Black Templar shoulder pads. I'm probably not going to use them, but I'll snip them off anyway, so I've got them and I can throw this out. Alright. I want to change Belarius' call to character. After reading his book. I haven't read any books that contain call, actually. I was going to do some painting. But I want to make that Ball Predator. Do you know what I'll do? Because I've already been modelling for like an hour, I'll do a little bit of painting. Mainly just to see how I'm getting on with my arm and if it's fucked, if it can handle some painting. And it'll be pretty easy painting. I'll be using a giant brush, I think. No, it's over here. Oh. Excuse me. Oh, you guys are voting for the Ball Predator? Well, let me put a bit of... I want to see how much movement and how sore my arm is from painting, because I do have a tournament. I got another tournament coming up in like... It's not even long till the GT I'm going to. 1, 2, 3... It's like 5 weeks. So considering I'm not playing a game this week, I only got like 4 battles. Or like 4 games to figure out my list. And also get anything that I need to painted. Ow, okay. That giant water bottle's too heavy for me to pick up at the moment, still. Yeah, so this is a crazy old... I've had this Repulsor for forever. Literally, it probably got this the week Impulsors were released. Sprayed it, and then did nothing with it. I was gonna say, I maybe even painted the red on here, because if this was red spray... yeah, this was probably sprayed white. When are we gonna get Thunder Hammers on Blade Guard? Good question. When are we getting Thunder Hammers on? Even just the Sergeant. I actually kind of hate the pistol that the Blade Guard Sergeant gets, you know that? I think it's Gash. I took it to the tournament thinking it would be decent. And I think maybe it did like one, like, you know, a tournament you play 5 games over 2 days. I think like I wounded with it like once or twice and they had to make a save with no AP. And then I think maybe once in the entire event I did a mortal wound with it and was like, oh wow, okay, this pistol is actually terrible. I mean, yeah, I mean, it's no better than a heavy bolt pistol. So if we had to spend 5 pints in it, the Neo Volkite pistol, yeah, your fine motor control would be diminished for another few weeks, says Wildling. Yeah, I think it will be. I'll just move the light a little bit closer. Yeah, let me just make sure it's out of shot or I'll wash everything out. Yeah, I think my motor control will be out of not be good for a few more weeks yet, but I just want to see how... We might come back to the Ball Predator. I don't know how long I'm streaming for tonight. But man, it was so gutting, honestly, breaking your arm and being like... Because I had a couple of projects that I wanted to do over the Christmas holidays in terms of like... Some was like I wanted to make some videos for the YouTube channel, and some was I wanted to finish some models that were almost finished. And didn't really get to do either of them. So hopefully I've learned my lesson of not skateboarding in December. I mean, I have learned my lesson. I probably won't skateboard outside the summer ever again. Jokes on you, you never had good motor control anyway. Thanks, DTM. I really appreciate you coming in here and telling me that. Yeah, but I'm a battle-ready painter. I know it. In hindsight, I'm thinking that gluing these like, I think they're called like grav plates or something. In hindsight, I think gluing these on first was a giant mistake, because painting underneath there is going to be an absolute nightmare. Let me just change up the music because that track is finished. Ken, I saw your message, it disappeared. 1 second. A dumb question. I've become a member for a YouTube channel before, but I've watched this channel for so long I think it's time. How do I do it? Ken, I would appreciate that. Right underneath the video there should be a join button. If you don't see the join button, it's likely that you're watching on an Apple device, and unfortunately you can't join on Apple. I believe the reason that you're not allowed to join YouTube channels on Apple is because Apple can't take their cut of like 30% of your money, so they don't let you do it on their devices. Because Apple, the company that made how much money last year? I think they said that they were the first company to ever make, was it 100 billion profit? Not turnover, profit. So like after they've paid all their crazy CEOs and everything, they made 100 billion profit. They will not let you subscribe to my YouTube channel because they don't get their I don't know, they don't get their like 150 of your subscription money, so they don't let you do it. But that's a story for another day, Ken. So yeah, if you're on an Apple device, tough shit. You gotta, if you want to be a member, you gotta be on another. You gotta get another device, which is funny because I'm actually a big fan of Apple. But yeah, I think it's kind of, sometimes they just go too far, don't they? I'm sorry I can't read Russian, but thank you so much for subscribing and we appreciate it. I think that's Russian text. When you painted the Gladiator, you painted the grav plates separate. Yeah, this was definitely a mistake sticking them on there first. Because getting underneath is going to be an absolute nightmare. And it's probably never going to be, I was going to say unmessy underneath. I don't know how you would... it's never going to be a clean paint job underneath. But then, who knows? Apparently tanks don't need bottoms anymore, right? That's a thing. So maybe no one looks at the bottom of the tank anymore. So maybe it's fine. Maybe it's not a problem, Mike. You know what, the arm actually feels kind of fine just doing this. I mean, I'm not doing any fine detail, I'm just doing, I mean, this is as base coat, I was going to say as base coaty as you can get, I guess, just doing these giant grav plates, but yeah, no, this doesn't, I'm not in any pain right now. Let's just say that, I get a little twinge of pain, but yeah, I think I'm good. Like, I'll definitely be able to paint properly in the next few weeks, I think. I'm gonna be painting Grimaldus on Saturday night, I think. The guy who stuck the Vindicator Laser Destroyer before it was sent to me glued the tracks on too, which you never do. I did the tracks glued onto when I did my super heavy tank. I had the tracks glued onto it when I painted the tracks. I don't think tracks are as bad to paint as these grav plates, right? Because at least with tracks you don't have a big hole underneath them, and I guess that's the problem with these grav plates, is you essentially have like a 1 centimeter gap where it's just going to be difficult to paint. I don't know, I really don't like the grav plates. I don't even know if I think it looks cool. I just think that, like, I think tanks could have just stayed with tracks. They don't fly anyway, so why have they got grav plates? I glued all my guns onto my rubrics before a chest was painted. Yeah, I mean, that's the... Ken S. Oh, you figured it out, Ken. Thank you so much for becoming a member. I appreciate it. Please make sure you find your way into our members-only Discord room. Because that's where I spend most of my time hanging out on Discord, so if you got questions or anything, you can definitely ask them over there, excuse me. What's the repulsor good for? You just brought me back to Rush Hour 2 with Jackie Chan. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Sing it again. I don't know. What is the repulsor good for? Is this a trick question? Oh, you were an iPhone, Ken. Okay, well, I guess you figured it out. Cool. It's pretty crazy that Apple hide that, man. Like, seriously. I don't know. It's Apple things. I'm an Apple user as well, which is, so it's like I can't be too harsh on them. Yeah, what is the repulsor good for? Target practice, says Chris. Yeah, okay, you can go with that. John, you'll have you got a resistance band for your arm? It will help with bringing your strength back. No, what is a resistance band, Dirty Wizard? The thing I've got, though, I'll tell you, that's helping bringing my strength back is I've got a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old. And both of them don't seem to care that you've got a broken arm, and they will pull you, and they will run away, and they'll roll about when they're trying to get a nappy changed, or, you know, they'll get out of bed when you say get back into bed. So I mean, that's helping with my rehabilitation probably quite a lot. But yeah, I don't know, what is a repulsor good for? I mean, one of the reasons that I want to put some paint on this is because I want to field it in a game. But one of the other reasons is what I was saying earlier around, like, it's the end of the season. I guess some people have already been stung by going ham on plasma inceptors, so who knows what else will get changed before this season's out. I think Iron Hands players, if they don't expect there to be some sort of change / nerf, possibly to Codex Warfare, I'd be super surprised. So if you're an Iron Hands player and you're about to go spend a lot of money on Iron Hands, just be aware that might not last as long as you think it's going to last, because Plasma Inceptors lasted like 2 weeks. What did you miss? You missed us singing a rendition of War, absolutely. What is it good for, but about a repulsor. Braden, welcome back. The repulsor is probably good for Iron Hands. The Executioner definitely is good for Iron Hands. I think this isn't the Executioner. This is the one that, like, when they first released the Impulsor, this was the one that was almost like the meme, that because it had all the guns on it, and everyone was like, "Oh my god, look at all the guns! This is going to be an amazing tank." And then people fielded it, and it was like, "Wow, this is not an amazing tank." Lost my train of thought. The repulsor is good for me to poop on, says Wildly. I mean, if you want to poop on the repulsor, you can do that. It's an elastic strap that you put one end under your opposite armpit and you pull with the recovering arm. It worked really well. You're not missing anything, trust me, I can't sing. I was just messing around. I'll check into it. Anything that can make my recovery go a bit quicker is probably something that I'm going to want. But I think I'm recovering really well, actually. Because they did say when I first broke it, they were saying, like, for some people it doesn't even heal whatsoever if you're older. Because I am going to be 40 this year. And then they also said that it could be in the sling for up to 12 weeks. Well, the sling came off at week 6. And that was just 10 days ago or so. The sling came off, and like already, like I can do just a lot more with it. The first couple of days it was like really sore to like put a t-shirt on in the morning or anything like that. So now we can like stretch up and everything. I can almost stretch it straight. Like almost. I mean, it's pretty tight, it's pretty sore to stretch. Like if I tried to do that quickly, it would be sore. But I think every week it's improving. I think it's improving pretty well. The win rates don't make me too afraid of nerfing Iron Hands or Codex Warfare. I mean, I haven't seen any Iron Hands players win tournaments. All I know is my first-hand experience against Andrew. And I felt like at the time during the game, I was like, holy shit, Iron Hands are so broken. This feels terrible. This feels like... I almost want to say this feels like a game I can't win. Regardless of how well I play, I probably can't win this game. Just because of the army list composition, I guess. And then I had a few people that watched the game on the stream afterwards and were like, just like, holy damn, Iron Hands, man. Like, you didn't get to roll a save at all in that game. And I was like, yeah, that's what it felt like, man. It was like every time they shot my units, I just lift them off the board and don't get to roll any saving throws. And when you're in the midst of that, it's like, holy crap, this is a strong army to play against. And yeah, that's kind of how it felt. Maybe it wasn't quite as bad as that, but that's certainly how it felt, and it was kind of demoralizing. It feels real bad. Like if you've paid 185 points for a Redemptor Dreadnought and they shoot it, and it's just like, oh, you just don't get to make a save on a 185 point model. It's like, wow, okay. And what am I using? This is the Go-To Grey that I put on anywhere that I'm in the future probably going to paint metallic or metal or bronze or anything like that. I pretty much always start with a coat of Dawnstone, because I always find like the metallic paint, sometimes if you try and put it over the top of red, it's never going to be that smooth or nice. So I genuinely always coat any area that I'm going to do in I use a lot of lead belcher and brass scorpion, so I always would basically undercoat those areas with Dawnstone first. You could probably use a slightly darker grey if you wanted. Dawnstone to me actually, like, it's a base colour I use for a lot of different colours. I always feel like if you've got a nice thin coat of Dawnstone on there, you can go a lot of directions with it. So if you watch any of my tutorial videos on painting, you'll probably always see me use Dawnstone at some point. You're more than welcome. Australia Day, yeah mate. What is Australia Day? Hello Tarek, how you doing? If you're going against Iron Hands, take as many Storm Shields as possible. Watching against Iron Hands looks like the only viable option against me. Here's the thing though, Dirty Wizard. I'm going to a tournament in 5 weeks' time. Is there going to be Iron Hands lists at the tournament? Yeah, so you need to build the... I don't want to... That's the trick with going to tournaments, right? You need to build lists that can fight everybody. And that's why I'm thinking, and I'm only thinking, I don't know. I have no real data to back this up, and the tournament that I just won, like 2 weekends ago or whenever, yeah, I think it was like 2 weekends ago, wasn't it? It was so early in the Arcs of Omen cycle that, like, I don't think any of the data from that event really carries over much. It carries over a little bit. But, like, everybody was in the same boat. You know, Arc of Omen has been out for like 5 days. No one really knows what an optimal list is. Everybody's trying something maybe a little bit different. Like independence from Britain or the establishment? It's a national holiday to celebrate the nation of Australia. Cool. That's funny because today is Burns Night here in Scotland, so... We typically have haggis. My daughter had haggis for the first time ever tonight, actually. She quite liked it. We thought she wasn't going to like it, so we didn't put very much haggis out for her, but she loved it. But we couldn't give her any more because the rest of the haggis was covered in whiskey sauce. So, we'll know next time. We did have haggis, yeah, Highland Phoenix, yeah. We had haggis with whiskey sauce and sweet potato and potato mash, and then, like, turnips and carrots mash. I'm not a huge fan of turnips, honestly, but it's like once a year, so I'll eat them. Same as Christmas Day, I'm not a huge fan of Brussels sprouts. Some people love Brussels sprouts, I don't get it. I think they're the worst vegetable. Because I usually eat a lot of vegetables, but Brussels sprouts, no, I can't deal with them. Brussels sprouts and turnip, not a fan. I love haggis, neeps and tatties and whiskey sauce. Is haggis vegan? It can be vegan. They do vegan haggis these days. Eric had a rough time against Thousand Suns, teleporting and shooting my units to shit. Screened his Terminators with Rubik's, so Angelus bolt guns couldn't kill them. Angelus bolt guns really don't do that much damage. If you can, especially now that the Infernal Pistols are free, I just almost think if you have the models and you've got them made, I would just almost go all Infernal Pistols on your Sanctuary Guard squads. My experience of Angelus bolt guns is like they do 1 damage. So if one single Infernal Pistol is in range and can sneak through an armor save, it's better than like an entire squad of Angelus bolt guns. And a couple of times I've actually tried like Angelus bolt guns for Auspex scan, and it's always underwhelming. Even if you're near like captains and stuff, it just never seems to do much. So I'm not a huge fan of Angelus bolt guns. Looking for new synthetic brush for metallics. Chrono's saying if you are looking, if you are serious about your painting and you've got some serious questions, then you should tag Tony in Discord, because Tony is the most experienced painter out of me. Like, if you ever watch our podcast, Tony would go on and on and on about paint for forever. He tries all the new paints, he always gets excited about them, and I guess he's just a really passionate painter, and he goes to like master classes and stuff about painting. I think he talks about one on this week's episode on the podcast. So I would say if no one in chat can help you, then Tony would be the person to help you. Really, is it haggis if it's not done traditionally? They've had to change some of the traditions, Dirty Wizard, right? Because of like health and safety laws and stuff like that. But no, I've had vegan haggis before. I think we maybe had it one year where there was just no real haggis left, I guess, or meat haggis left, or whatever you want to call it. Regular haggis, I guess. And there's nothing wrong with it. It's one of those things where like sometimes the vegan stuff is just so good that if you put it in front of somebody, they just wouldn't know it was vegan. Like haggis seems to be one of those things that they can, because like haggis is full of oatmeal and stuff like that. So I guess it's one of those things that they can do a really good flavored version of the vegan without really impacting it. So our haggis tonight was not vegan, but I've had it before and it's absolutely fine. I'd have it again. Ken says, I commissioned a 3D sculptor to make the Infernal Pistol arm brace. Felt like it was the more ethical than recast. My printer guy made a mistake and now I have 50 of those arms. Well then you should get onto eBay, Ken, because people were paying $10 per Infernal Pistol on eBay just a few weeks ago when the new book dropped, right? That's how much they were going for. Because people were losing people were losing their mind that they were $10 an Infernal Pistol, but I guess if you had a shitload of Infernal Pistols, you can make a shitload of money. $10 is... yeah, you could literally buy a whole other box of Sangreguard for the price of 2 almost. Braden says, I'll have to see if I can find it in Canada. What, I mean, if you want the recipe for whiskey sauce, I can put be a bit of a random community article to put up on the Blood Angels channel, but I could put up a recipe for the whiskey sauce. I should have listened to you and not bought interceptors. Now I'm sitting with 2 extra squads for no reason, says Crozier. I'm sorry, Crozier. Yeah, we had a long talk about this earlier, where like, oh, it's tough, man. You see a unit that you really like, that you've been wanting for a while, and then you see its point drop, and then you see an army list, and then you just want to have it. I mean, that's pretty much why I've got my converted Grimaldus here, right? Because I was looking at Grimaldus for a while, thinking like, wow, he's a really cool chapter master. At the start of when the Black Templars got their new models in their new release, I bought the Black Templars Codex, because I was reading. Well, I think when I bought the Black Templars Codex, Blood Angels were in a horrible place in the meta, and we hadn't won any events in a while, and I was actually kind of frustrated. And I think that if I hadn't, yeah, I think I was just frustrated. And like, I play very meta, like all my opponents that I play on my stream, maybe not all, but most of them are very competitive players who are going to run really strong lists. Like, they don't come to have fun, they come to win. And we all take it pretty seriously, we all take winning pretty seriously. So I was just in a place where like I was super frustrated, so I bought the Black Templars Codex, and I'd also bought the Black Templars cards. I don't even really know if you need to buy those cards, you know, like if you need cards for the game, and I might even do this next edition, just download the template that I made on cards. I even did a guide on how you can print them double-sided on my community page. Just download those and just make whichever cards you need, like Litany of Hate or I made one for like retrieve Nat1 data, I made one for chapter master rerolls, and some of these things you don't even get cards for, right? Like you don't get a card to remind you of chapter master rerolls or whatnot, so like it's almost better to just make your own cards. But I did buy the Black Templars cards and stuff, and I bought the codex, and then I played them like one time, and then Armor of Contempt came out, and I went, oh cool, I can play my Blood Angels again, so I just ditched the Black Templars almost instantly. But when I started looking at all the new rules, I was like, okay, yeah, why not give them another, why not buy the models that you've wanted for a while and do something with them? But it is a slippery slope. It's very dangerous, and that's why, like, is me buying 5 more Terminators logical? Like, will Terminators, well, one, will they survive the edition? Because obviously Primaris Terminators, new Terminator squads are a thing. But last year, I painted 5 Blood Angels Terminators. I really enjoyed painting them. I really enjoyed the final product. I really enjoyed how they look. I know one of them had a Primaris head that people hated, but I still really enjoyed doing it. And I think they look dope in the battlefield, and I hadn't painted a whole heap of Lightning Claws before I got those Terminators. I hadn't painted any of those Blood Angel style Thunderhammers or stuff, so they took a long time to paint that unit, but I'd like to do another unit at some point, and I'd like to build out my close combat Terminators, because I have a lot of Terminators with guns, and I was showing some of them off at the start of the stream, but like Blood Angels close combat Terminators, I never really got round to them. Like, I think probably I bought them, and then Sangre Guard and Death Company were always just, they were just seen as more competitive, or they just made more sense. So it was almost like, well, I've got these Terminators, but why should I really finish them? One day it'll pay off. Exactly, one day it will pay off. Like, there will be a time where they finally fix Plasma Inceptors. They'll figure out the points cost that they should be. They'll figure out the fact that they suck because reroll one's killing a 60-point model makes 0 sense, when Tau's Plasma is like 1 more strength, 1 more AP, and 1 more damage, and it doesn't kill their own models, you know? Like, they'll figure out how to make Space Marines Plasmas balanced, and it won't be the end of the world. You'll get use out of them yet. You just might have to wait a year or two. What do I think of aggressors right now? I was thinking 5 for 150 points doesn't seem bad. I think you probably want to reserve them, right? Or the only transport you can put them in is on a Repulsor. No. I don't know about the Repulsor. I think a Repulsor could be viable for an army where you can get a save with it. Maybe not for Blood Angels. Wolfden had to look up haggis. It's too much cholesterol for him. If you've never had haggis, if you're ever in Scotland, please try it. It's very much like black pudding. I don't know if you've ever had black pudding, but it's a bit like black pudding, and it's like our traditional. That and Iron Brew. If you don't know what Iron Brew is, I'll show you sometime. It's basically like an orange soda that has a very peculiar taste. Space Wolf Frost weapons are basically the same without the drawbacks. I drank a bottle of Lefroy whiskey at the weekend, and we'll be getting another bottle on Friday. Says Dirty Wizard. Lefroy is very smoky, man. I'm more of a sweet tooth when it comes to whiskey. If you like sweet whiskies, I can give you suggestions. They might not be the cheapest suggestions, but I can definitely give you suggestions for cheap whiskies. Sorry, for cheap whiskies. Sweet whiskies. I used to always have a whiskey on Friday night after work, but I haven't been doing it as of late because they said to limit my alcohol until my arm is fully healed. So as soon as that is healed, we'll be back to maybe just a little whiskey every Friday night, you know. What's your thoughts on heavy intercessors? Seemed a lot of hype with the latest updates, but we're not hearing much talk now. I actually have them right here. I need to put more paint on mine. 100% need to put more paint on mine. I want to run them. I haven't tried them yet. But I think they could be good. That's kind of broken. Yeah, it's broken. Okay. Yeah, a lot of people were talking about heavy intercessors, but I don't know if we've seen them in many battle reports. I don't know if many people bought them. I got mine with that Kill Team box when they came out, the one that had like the heavy intercessor captain in it. I think it was called like Pariah Nexus. This is fucking ages ago, man, when that came out. That was actually before I even moved house, which is like 15 months ago. So yeah, I think I got a bottle of Jura for Christmas actually, Highland Phoenix. I can't remember which. Jura have lots of different whiskies, but no, I got a bottle for Christmas. It was actually really nice. I think that's what I was drinking on the New Year stream, actually. Sorry, got distracted by whiskey. You guys are distracting me with whiskey. Plasma Inceptors went up, says Ronan. Yeah, it's very unfortunate, Ronan. They didn't... Some people bought a shitload of them. Like, somebody on Twitter bought 15 of them and he didn't even get to play a game with them. So, yeah, tough news if you were a Plasma Inceptor fan, I guess. Sounds like I need a food tour of Scotland. I mean, we do whiskey and I mean, I don't know if we have that many unique foods. But yeah, we do whiskey. We do love our whiskey. Do you know what? Someone who doesn't come in the stream that often anymore, Steel Rain, he was like he's an American viewer. I think he might have been quite southern. I could be wrong. I'm not able to place American accents all that well. But he was a big bourbon guy, and he sent me a bottle of I think it was called like Four Seasons bourbon or something. And this shit was nice. This rivaled like a lot of the scotches that I would drink. You know, because some people in Scotland are very precious about Scotch. It's like Scotch is the be all and end all, and nothing can match it. And I was like, well, I've had a couple of bourbons this last year. Scotch eggs. I've had a couple of bourbons this last year. I had that one that was like called Four Seasons or something, and I had one called Whistle Pig. You guys heard of that? It was expensive, apparently. My uncle got a bottle of it, and he handed it to me and said, like, try this bourbon. And I was like, okay, sure. He's called this Whistle Pig. I was like, yeah, that sounds fine. Let me try it. And like, had like one drink of it, and like, you know when you get that alcohol burn? I was like, oh my god, dude, you're trying to kill me. What strength is this bourbon? And he's like, oh, it's 50%. And I was like, and you're telling me to drink this straight at 50%? I'll go blind. I said to him, like, give me another drink, right? And let's put a little bit of water in it. And I put a little bit of water in it, and it was honestly lovely. But I was like, dude, don't give me 50%. 50% straight bourbon, and like, you can't, at 50% straight, you can't taste anything but alcohol, right? Like, you gotta water it down a little bit. Yeah. But Whistle Pig is good. I mean, if you've never tried it, it's a really nice bourbon as well. 50% is barely cast strength. Yeah, but I mean, beyond 50%, dude, you're not tasting much except alcohol, right? One of the master distillers here in Scotland actually says that you should drink no Scotch at more than 37.5%. So if you ever get a Scotch that is bottled at higher than 37.5%, you should water it down to a point where it's 37.5%, and then that'll give you the most flavors and the pleasantest dram. And hey, if you got a bottle that's 50%, right, and you have to water it down, it just means it's going to last longer. So there's a win-win. If honestly some of my favourite whiskies I could water down and make the bottles last longer, I would, because Whiskey's one of those things. See, since COVID, some of the whiskies have gone insane in price. They've like almost doubled. We Americans have some good bourbons. Surprisingly, the Japanese make some good whiskey. There's a story behind that, Frank, and we're so off topic. Please, if someone's got a Warhammer question, just ask it and we'll get back on topic. But apparently one of the reasons that Japan has really nice whiskies is because, I guess it was like 50 years ago now, one of the big, like a distillery that was setting up in Japan sent one of their employees or like their managing director or somebody to Scotland to like get a job in Scotland for like 10 years and learn all the tricks. And Japan and Scotland actually share like similar, I forget, is it longitude or latitude, the one that's like north to south? I'm not a geography person, but whatever, we share one of those two. Like I think it's the one that's north to south. And because we share a lot of it, it means like the water is of similar quality or consistency or something, and it means that they can make the whiskey in a similar way. So apparently like a lot of the Japanese whiskies will remind you a lot of Scotch if you have them. I've never bought a bottle of Japanese whiskey, but it's definitely on my list. Like every year at Christmas I'm like, because I usually buy one new bottle of whiskey every year, sort of a Christmas present to myself, because as an adult you don't get that many Christmas presents, right? So like every year there's always like a Japanese bottle on the list, like hey, this is going to be the year that I'm going to finally go Japanese, and then I probably always just fall back to hey, this is a whiskey I know and love and it's from Scotland. But yeah, definitely heard good things about Japanese whiskey and I need to get one at some point. Hibiki, I think, is the name of it, one of the ones that I had my eye on for a while, but I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. Chronosound has a 62% bourbon, yeah. Definitely water that shit down. We'd rather talk about drinks. It would be better if it was Friday night and I could be drinking, but oh, you have Hibiki! It's a blended but well-made single malt from Japan and it's crazy expensive. That's what I said, yeah, it's like $100 a bottle here. Hibiki, basically, is the pronunciation. Okay, that's so random. That's the one that I've had my eye on a few times. I think that must have like similar tasting notes to the sort of whiskies that I like. Highland Phoenix gave his dad a Welsh whiskey this year. Do you know what? Irish whiskey can also be quite nice as well. I didn't know they made whiskey in Wales. So have any of you guys been following the underside of the tank debate? What is it even about? Is there a new Imperial Guard tank that doesn't come with a bottom? I see so much 40k stuff in my Twitter feed, but I don't always have time to look into it all. I think people always get upset about silly things like what does it even care? Like, I was messing with Mark and Tony when I said like you have to paint the underside of your tanks. Like if you don't paint that, same as I guess they're saying like maybe more seriously they're saying like you need to drill your gun barrels. But yeah, like if a tank doesn't have a bit that nobody will see ever, is it a problem? How do people feel? Have you guys been following the drama? Thorn left it open. I mean, it's actually a cool idea if you wanted to put some LEDs inside it, right? Like, it would actually make it so much easier to put some LEDs. I have never actually done, like, an electrical project for any of my 40k. Like, none of my stuff ever has been... I've never had, like, a tank with lights and stuff. But I've seen a few people that have done it, and anyone that's done it, it's always looked super dope. If you want a bottom that badly, just make it out of plastic card. Yeah, you could always just make it out of a cereal box as well, couldn't you? Just spray it and just stick a bit of cardboard over it. Wouldn't even need to be plastic. I don't know. Seems like a lot of drama about nothing, right? Did you see the RC Rhino from Ground Affected? No, I did not see. I assume you mean remote control. I had to think about that for a second. People see the tank fall from the table and it lands bottom side up. People will see the inside of the tank is all grey and you'll be ridiculed. I don't think so, but okay, maybe. I mean, I'm going to be ridiculed for these stupid grav plates, because how the hell am I going to get under there to paint all that nonsense? It's going to be a real nightmare. Really didn't think this through when I glued these things on. I should have blue tacked these things on. I'm honestly at a point where I'm thinking, like, do you think they would come off? Has anyone ever taken these off? With like, has anyone just like, I don't know, like put a knife in there or something to get some leverage and just try to pop all these off? Has anyone ever done it? It feels like a oh shit moment. Jim says painted like a butthole. Okay, Jim. Put it in the freezer. Does that mess with the glue? I use that plastic cement, so it's not super glue. So it's not like the super glue would crack or anything. It's like it'll be welded together. Use that horrible black. Mike, you were like a nice, friendly guy when you first joined my streams. Now you're just like evil. Why do you hate my glue so much? I'm not gonna lie, that was pretty cool that Valrak came past the stream through earlier. Hopefully you'll come back and let me know when we got a Primaris Dante, huh? Nice, I just wasted money on it myself. Oh, right, fair enough. I just bought more of that glue as well. I don't think it's a waste of money. I like it. I think it's fine. Put it in hot water. It's plastic glue, it's not plastic cement. It is plastic cement. It's 100% plastic cement, that blue stuff. I mean, I think it's a French company, that's why it's called Contacta, but it says plastique liquid. But I'm 100% sure it's plastic cement. It has that plastic cement smell. Revel is a German company? Okay. I mean, I never said I was good at languages, but thanks for, like, beating me up here. Come on. Usually French put extra letters, silent letters on the end of words. That's usually how it works in France. That's why I was convinced it was French. French is possibly the biggest insult you can find? Okay. Sorry. I mean, to be fair, if someone calls me English, that does really upset me, so I guess I can understand. Neighbours. It does melt the plastic together. Yeah, 100% melts the plastic together, so that's why I'm thinking getting those tracks off would be an absolute nightmare. Probably end up damaging the model more than the improvement to the paint job would possibly make afterwards, right? It feels like a shame that this Repulsor has had to languish for like 4 years unpainted, because I've painted a few of these new Primaris models now. Like, I've been working on the Impulsor, I've been working on those new Storm Speeders. Mike obviously did my Gladiator tank for me, but all the new Primaris stuff is nice. They're nice models to work on. Like, they are genuinely quite nice to work on. Their scale feels nicer than the old sort of firstborn scale. They're cool little projects to have. It's just, it's been rough that their rules have kind of sucked for, I mean, ever since they released, like, the Impulsor barely had any time in the sun. Like, maybe like one build, or I say build, I mean like patch. Maybe like one patch we saw Repulsors for like 5 minutes, and then it was like, oh, they're gone again. When I finally do field the Impulsor with all the extra war gear you get now, I'll need to make, I'll need to make a cheat sheet, because it's going to be like, it's got this extra stubber, and it's going to have like another stubber, and then it'll have like 2 storm bolters, and then it'll have like another stubber, and then it'll have like, I don't know, maybe like another stubber. You know, like, it's just, the Impulsor is just the Impulsor was already a little confused, wasn't it? It's probably just shipped with too many guns. Like, they wanted it to be a transport, but they just gave it too many guns, so they had to like cost it really highly. And then everyone was like, well, that's a transport that costs quite a lot, and it's not survivable either, so I guess we just won't ever see it in any of the battles. The Repulsor needs an assault ramp. You're probably right, Highland Phoenix. I mean, the Impulsor needs an assault ramp I mean, it's got sort of a pseudo assault ramp. It just needs advance and charge, really, maybe, from it. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Centurions can advance and charge from a land speeder. Sorry. Centurions can Centurions charge at a land speeder for Black Templars? Is that the thing? I know they have a strat for Black Templars where they can get out of the land speeder after it's moved, I think, for 1 CP. Can they charge as well once they've done that? The Impulsor needs open-topped. Yeah, I mean, the Impulsor is open-topped. It is open-topped. It has no top. It should have the open-top rule. I can't agree with that one any more than I agree. Because I think, you know, they made a change to Hellblasters. Is anyone even considering running Hellblasters? Have we seen any armies running Hellblasters? I don't know. I have 10 painted Hellblasters. I would love to run them. I think I would like to run the assault version of them. If I had an open top Repulsor that they could start in and get shifted up the board and shoot from the back, I think that'd be super strong. I would love to run that. It's 1 CP to disembark them from Land Raider Crusader after it's moved. And can they charge, Peter? Is there any restriction on them charging at that point? Chrono's saying, I'm going to run them in boarding actions. What, Centurions? I think I'm going to run my Centurions with Rebooty next week against the Iron Hands. I think I'm going to have them in reserve. So we're going to try and bring them in within 12 inches of Rebooty so they get +1, so they'll be +2 to charge from Deep Strike. And then we'll have them... New Castle Hellblaster. Yeah, that would be cool. Oh, Hellblaster. You're going to try Hellblasters in Burning Actions. Okay, interesting. I just... Do you know what? Assault 3... It's Assault 3 the Hellblasters, isn't it? Maybe Assault 3 Hellblasters protected from other units by, like, Terminators or Blade Guards might actually be quite good in Burning Actions. I haven't really considered them, to be honest. That might not be bad. Captain Blade Guard Terminators and Hellblasters. I was thinking Terminators or Blade Guard, and then I was thinking... I was half on the board of like a Death Company Captain. Because I do think a Death Company Captain, maybe even one in like... Primaris, like Gravis, Death Company Gravis. Because we never see Death Company Gravis captains, right? Because we can't really run them because Death Company and slowness aren't really a trait that you want. But in boarding actions, Death Company might be good. Can't move again, but can charge. Then that's very decent, really. We don't see many Land Raider Crusaders, but again, a Land Raider Crusader just got a buff, right? In that, for Black Templars, you can take a free multi-melt on it. So Land Raider Crusader with Centurions in it for Black Templars is actually probably pretty scary. But I don't know if many people are running Crusaders at the moment. Probably not, I feel like. What about the Land Raider Proteus? Do you know what? I like the Proteus. I think any toughness 8 unit with an invulnerable save is probably pretty viable into the current meta. In fact, I think it's probably going to help in the current meta because you're going to want big things that can sit on objectives. So if the Land Raider can sit on an objective while protecting the Terminators and then letting Terminators come out, it's probably not a bad thing. Probably really isn't a bad thing. Some people are really against Terminators though. But I mean, I've ran Terminators to multiple events over the last year or so. I like Terminators. I think they're a good unit. Ever since they got 3 wounds, I've felt they're a lot more viable. And I think the Storm Shield ones, they're very, very durable. Impulsors for Black Templars are crazy good. Yes, they are. There's no two ways about saying that. They are very good for Black Templars. Alright, it is midnight. I think I'm going to give it maybe like 10 more minutes, guys. So if there's any final Blood Angels questions, please answer them. Answer them? Yeah, you're going to answer the questions. If there's any final Blood Angels questions, please ask them. And we will make sure to answer them before I jump off here. I already have a video that I'm working on for Friday. I'm already filming the next video on the breakdown of the tournament that I won like 2 weekends ago, and I'm going to be streaming on Saturday night. Most likely painting some more stuff, possibly putting the first couple of colours onto Hellbreck and his buddies on Saturday night. Any thoughts on a good starting point for Gabriel Seth Kit Bash? How much money you got to spend? RPC. RCBP. Sorry. Stephen just bought Tempest of War cards. Hello, Stephen. Don't sell your Terminator, Stephen. You have all the money to spend. Well, I mean, first of all, you need to change your name from a grey name to a green name by joining the channel and giving me some of all the money you have. I'm joking. But I'm not really, but I am. And then the second thing, what about Forge World? Chat, look, go to Forge World and search Raldoran. RALDORAN. Because Gabriel Seth... No, Gabriel Seth uses a chainsword, doesn't it? Is tomorrow Grots or next week? We'll have a Grots episode. We will have a Grots episode tomorrow. Yeah, we have a Grots episode tomorrow. I guess it just needs scheduled. I'll speak to Tony and Mark and make sure it's scheduled. It's probably just a mistake that one of us needs to schedule it. I was going to say, so what character then, because I was thinking about Raldoran, he doesn't have a chainsword though, RPC, sorry. He has a sword. Seth has a chainsword. Raldoran is a very cool model, and he's very unique. Is there any firstborn, or even a Primaris character that has a chainsword that is very cool that could work as a proxy on Seth? What size base does Seth live on? Is it a 40? No, it would be a 32 probably, actually, wouldn't it? Yeah, I think it would be a 32 Seth would be on. I'm not sure I know a special character that has a chainsword that would be great for Seth. Oh, yeah, Seth has an eviscerator, actually. You're right, Highland Phoenix. So, I mean, I was going to say, is Seth going to get a Primaris model, though, is the question. Because if he is going to get a Primaris model, and that could be the reason he's been discontinued, is that they're going to give you a Primaris Seth. And then he would be on a 40mm if he came back as Primaris. And an Eviscerator would be the weapon you probably want to use as a proxy for his chainsword. Because I think his chainsword is basically an Eviscerator on crack, right? Like it's a very powerful 2 damage, larger chainsword than other people have. I think that's how I would look at it anyway. Primaris Seth would be neat for the plasters, yeah. I really want to make a kit bash. Who said that? I really want to make a kit bash with Fafnir Ran. Who the hell is Fafnir Ran? It's a fairly large chainsword. One of the ways Steinberg says, I'm fairly new to 40k, trying to put together my first 2000 Blood Angels army. Do you think it's worth to get the White Scars box for the Outriders and Chaplain on a bike? I do not, because I don't think Outriders are all that competitive, Steinberg. My experience with Outriders hasn't been stellar. Chaplain on a bike, I've had good experiences with. But Outriders, they're not going to be the core of your army. You can maybe run like 1 squad of them, maybe 2, but I feel like even 2's pushing it. So I probably wouldn't buy that White Scar box. Thank you for tuning into the live show, by the way. Best chainsword is 3 damage, yeah, so you need them to have a serious chainsword. When I was building my Death Company captain, who I basically always wanted to have the Teeth of Terra on, how I did it was I took 2 Blood Angels chainswords, like 2 Death Company chainswords, I cut them in half, or I cut the handle off one of them, and made like this giant long chainsword, and used one of those like wing pieces you get from the Death Company to like cover over the seam essentially that I created. And so I guess you could do something like that if you didn't want to specifically go out and try and buy an Eviscerator style chainsword, but I think Eviscerator style chainsword would probably make the most sense, especially if you're putting on a Primaris model. Like if you want it to feel like he's holding a chainsword that's 3 damage and a lot bigger, you're probably going to want an Eviscerator. The only box set I can think of that has an Eviscerator is probably like... Assault Squad has an Eviscerator in it. I think Company Veterans, or Assault... I was going to say Vanguard Veterans might come with an Eviscerator. But an Eviscerator is not something we see all that often for Marines. So yeah, if you want an Eviscerator, you might need to buy something, and then you might need to buy like a... Might be better to make him on a Primaris base, because who knows what's going to happen. The chainsword that Primaris Ragnar Blackmane has? Good shout, Derek, that might be an option. Seth's model is laughably small compared to the firstborn, let alone Primaris. Maybe that's why they discontinued it then. I didn't realise he was laughably small. I've never actually owned a Seth myself. Okay. I don't think Vanguard Veterans get an Eviscerator, then it must be the Assault Squad that I've got, because I've got a couple of Eviscerators kicking around. And Vanguard Veterans get the Relic Blade. Oh, okay, fair enough. I normally stream on a Thursday night, so I was sitting there for a minute thinking like, oh cool, it's Friday tomorrow. It's the last day of the week, but it's not! I'm streaming on Wednesday today because Andrew cancelled the Warhammer game, so it's not Friday tomorrow, it's just Thursday, damn it. Assault Squads, yeah, that would be the one, I guess. It's just the Relic Blade, fair enough. I mean, if you only want the Eviscerator, they'll probably go to eBay before you spend, like, I don't know, 25 bucks on an entire kit of models for one sword. If you're in the UK, there's a website called Bits and Kits. If you Google that, BITS and Kits, and I think there's also other one called, like, Bitsbox. Those sites typically sell broken down models / units. So if you're just looking for a single sword or something, you can usually get it off there for a few bucks. Hey, thank you so much for following. Oh, becoming a member, dude. Oh, super. Thank you so much for that. That's super appreciated. I was kind of joking, but I do appreciate it. Yeah, Bits and Kits and Bitsbox. You'd probably be able to find an Eviscerator. Otherwise, for me, it really feels like if someone said to me, "Go ahead and make a new Captain Dante or Commander Dante," as it stands. That's funny. I called him Captain Dante. I guess because I'm the commander. If I was gonna make a Dante right now, would I guess I would make him on the right size base, which is the 32mm base. But I typically use those base extender rings. I think they're easy to convert bases. You can definitely go up in size very, very easily. So I would make him on the right size base, but if I was making Commander Dante right now, I think I would 100% make a Primaris version. Because, and I think I would do that for Seth as well, and I think I'd probably do that for any other character that was, like if I was making my own kit bash of those characters, because I just think we're so deep in the edition now. I do think at some point those characters will become Primaris. You know, Mephiston became Primaris. Black Templars, all their main characters became Primaris. I think Ultramarines have like 4 Primaris characters. They have they had one. Not well. Marnus Colgar is definitely Primaris. I mean, Rebute is kind of separate. But didn't they get Umbral Ventus or something? Is that not his name? I feel like they've got one more. So I think like Ultramarines definitely have like 3 Primaris. Space Wolves just have 1. Dark Angels are just getting their second one in that they're getting Ezekiel. No, not Ezekiel, sorry. Asmodan. Ezekiel's still firstborn, but they... And I guess Blood Angel's got some Primaris Lieutenant, I guess. Uriel Ventus, I think is his name. Yeah, Tigris is Primaris as well. I didn't realise Tigris. So Ultramarines do have like 4 Primaris characters then. I guess if you include Rebute, it would be 4. So yeah, and Black Templars have like 3. I guess 4 maybe if you include the Binor's Revenge. So I think it's only a matter of time before all the Space Marine characters are becoming Primaris. Like, I really think that's what's happening. So just be aware that if you are going to... if you are going to make a conversion then of like Seth or something, I think I would make him using the base of a Primaris. Start him on a 32mm base and buy yourself a base extender. Or the other thing you can do is just literally glue the 32mm base on top to a 40mm base when they release the Primaris version of Seth. It'd be nice if there was some sort of like proper roadmap where they told you what was coming so you didn't have to guess and be like, right, well. But maybe that's a wish list for a future day. Alright, once I've painted the Xandri dust on this guy's base, I'm going to call it a night, guys. I'm going to get up and work in the morning. But thanks for hanging out. A few folk have hung out the entire evening. It always makes my paint sessions easier or funner when I've got you guys to speak to, so I do really appreciate it. I really think they need more body and helmet options for Primaris. They definitely do. There's like that one Primaris helmet, or there's like the Reaver helmets, and then there's not a whole lot beyond that. I guess Blade Guard have a slightly different helmet, but it's like just limited to one model. I think that's one of the things I've been saying though, is like I think the Primaris range in general needs more. It needs more customization in terms of like what weapons we can actually give them, because that's the cool thing about Firstborn Marines, is the amount of different war gear that they get. And arguably it's probably one of the reasons that the Firstborn have stayed as competitive with Primaris, because they just have better war gear options. They always seem like they have something that they can pull out, whereas the Primaris war gear has been pretty limited. But yeah, so if you enjoyed tonight's stream at any point, please hit the like button. It helps me out a bit with the algorithm, and you know, probably helps my future videos get suggested to you as well. If you did click the like button, I would imagine that's how that works. Who knows if that's how it works, but I feel like that's how it should work. So yeah, and do you know what? I was painting for an hour there, and I don't even know if, like, my arm doesn't even feel remotely sore. So I guess I am probably going to be able to do some painting again. I'm going to be back on Saturday to do more modelling and stuff. Maybe more painting. Maybe we'll finish the Baal Predator on Saturday. So if you want to see a Baal Predator get finished made, we'll do that Saturday night. Heather says, I told my local game store manager that the Firstborn blow them out of the water, even tactical and assault squads. I'm not sure I'm with you on tactical squads, but I do think assault squads have some play now. They've got a lot better. So Cool. Yeah, well, I'm going to take off. I'll catch you guys. Well, I'll probably catch some of you in the comments before then on YouTube, but if not, I'll be here on Saturday night. We'll be streaming some painting, and we'll be streaming probably a Battle Predator. Enjoy your evening, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. I'll see you guys soon. Have a good night. Peace.